A severe monsoon is flooding Devpur village, triggering an environmental stress test for two local businesses, Raghu's fragile street cart and Lalchand's secure concrete dhaba. The storm creates an asymmetric crisis. While the indoor dhaba remains protected, the rain effectively wipes out Raghu's foot traffic, leaving his entire operation exposed and immobile. Watching from across the street, Lalchand mocks his rival. He operates on the traditional business thesis that physical infrastructure is the only real moat, and that high-quality food is worthless if a customer has to stand in the mud to eat it. Under standard microeconomic theory, Lalchand is right. Without a storefront to mitigate environmental shocks, a business like Raghu's is statistically likely to fail when the weather turns. By the end of a zero-revenue day, a penniless man named Hariya Kaka approaches the cart. He has no money, but he's hungry and exhausted. Raghu's inventory was purchased with borrowed capital. Giving food away at this moment is, on paper, an irrational move that deepens his financial loss, yet he chooses to feed the old man for free. This act moves the transaction from a financial ledger to a social one. By feeding the man, Raghu is establishing a direct line of social capital, an asset that doesn't appear on a balance sheet, but creates a connection within the community. While concrete protects a shop from the wind and rain, this social capital is a different kind of reserve. It relies on a community's shared memory of an act, rather than the physical strength of a roof. The next day, a wealthy city merchant named Vijay Babu stops by the cart. He is surprised to find that the quality of Raghu's handi mutton rivals the top-tier restaurants in the city. In a hurry to get back to his car, the merchant makes a critical error. He accidentally hands over 3,000 rupees, more than 10 times the actual cost of the meal. To Raghu, this overpayment is a massive temptation. It is a sudden windfall that could settle his debts and pay for the very infrastructure Lalchand says he lacks. Instead, Raghu chases the merchant down, shouting for him to stop so he can return every extra rupee. The return on this honesty is immediate. Impressed by the integrity of the man behind the cart, the merchant offers Raghu a massive B2B contract, a 100-person catering order for a wedding. This shows how reputation functions in a competitive market. By proving his character, Raghu won a high-value contract that usually goes to established businesses with much better facilities. Seeing his local monopoly threatened, Lalchand moves from mockery to active sabotage. He knows that if Raghu fails this large order, his reputation will be ruined. That night, Lalchand's servant slices open Raghu's tarpaulin, soaking his only supply of dry firewood in the middle of a downpour. By the next morning, Raghu is effectively paralyzed. He has a massive deadline approaching, but no way to light the fires he needs to cook. He searches the neighborhood for dry wood, but the persistent rain has left every neighbor's supply just as damp and useless as his own. In a world governed only by physical assets, the story ends here. Raghu has the talent and the contract, but he lacks the basic tools required to fulfill his promise. In a final act of desperation, Raghu turns to Hariya Kaka, the man he fed when he had nothing to gain from it. This is the moment the social network pays off. Hariya Kaka has the only dry wood left and provides it for free, saving the contract. The investment yields a second dividend. Kaka witnessed the sabotage and can identify exactly who was responsible. This demonstrates the true mechanism of altruism in business. Short-term sacrifices for others aren't just charity. They build a support structure that remains intact even when physical tools fail. Raghu delivers the 100-person order on time. The merchant is so pleased with the results that he signs Raghu for a permanent, high-volume weekly contract. At the same time, Lalchand's sabotage is exposed to the village head. He is forced to pay a penalty and faces a public loss of standing that his concrete walls cannot protect him from. Using the revenue from his new contracts, Raghu finally builds the physical infrastructure he once lacked, a permanent brick-and-mortar shop with a solid roof. True business infrastructure is about more than just tarpaulins and concrete. When the rain falls and the firewood gets soaked, the integrity a person has built is the most resilient asset they can own.